Good evening, I'm Jose Cardenas. Tonight, if you love to watch movies, there's an annual event here in the Valley that you don't want to miss. We'll talk to the founder of the Phoenix Film Festival. Plus, we'll talk to co-hosts of a show that explores historical mysteries and the experiences recording the largest national oral history project. All this coming up next on Horizonte.
Funding for Horizonte is made possible by contributions by the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station.
Thank you for joining us. The 13th Annual Phoenix Festival has its opening this week. Thousands of film enthusiasts come out to see the different movies being shown. We'll talk to the founder of the Phoenix Film Festival in a moment, but first, here's a trailer of one of the films being shown called Years Later.
Ves esta cremosura de muller? Pues ela é Carmen, o amor da miña vida. A nai da única filla que tivemos, a que marchou para México. Hai máis de 30 anos.
Recibí un mail de España.
¿Alguien que conoce a Justino Alamar?
Justino Alamar es mi abuelo, ¿verdad, mamá?
¿Qué abuelo?
Mi abuelo, el papá de mi mamá.
No, ¿cómo va a ser tu abuelo?
Clara, ayúdame a apuñalar la mesa.
Vuelve a empezar.
Cobardes de verdad. España asfixia a mi papá.
Soy hijo de Clara.
Qué broma esta, Monse. Es el neto de don Justino.
Un rapaz mexicano.
É o neto de Don Justino.
De Don Justino? Pero Don Justino non ten neto.
Pois agora teno.
Eu seguro que o mexicano quería a miña nai que chegou onte.
Lo único que puede hacer un pasado vivo es matarte. A mí me mata diario.
Y entraste a buscar al cajón de los recuerdos, y eso atrapa mucho.
Supongo que los abuelos vienen a ser algo así como un refugio donde no existe el miedo, solamente la calidez, la protección.
Todo está aquí. Y para la ausencia no hay remedio, papá. Fiche no prende.
Joining me now to talk about the Phoenix Film Festival is Chris Lamont, founder and president of the Phoenix Film Festival. Chris is also an independent writer and producer of short films. Chris, welcome to Horizonte.
Thank you.
I also understand you teach at ASU.
Yes, I do. Film production, teach a class about Hitchcock, film production crew, all about trying to make film here in Arizona a better place.
Let's talk first about the film festival, and we'll talk later about Years Later. The history of the festival, how long has it been going on?
This is the 13th year, and it's pretty amazing how quickly it's gone past. You know, back in 2000, there really was nothing here that really celebrated film on a community level. As a filmmaker myself, I saw that there was an opportunity here to be able to give filmmakers a chance to show their films, and especially for the audiences to really have a chance to see independent film. It's not just all about Hollywood and seeing the latest Transformers movie. So working with the city of Phoenix and raised just a number of exciting collaborators within the community, within corporations. The first year we were just hoping 500 people would show up, and we had 3,000. And we were a fledgling nonprofit. We didn't lose money, which was a big deal. And I still remember when someone said, well, when's next year's dates? And we're like, okay, I guess we're going to have a second year. And 13 years later, last year we had 20,000 people plus coming to the film festival.
Tell us about this year's festival. When does it start, first of all?
It starts April 4th, and it's a big Thursday opening night event. We got a film from Sundance, and which is really great, called Spectacular Now. And we're the Arizona premiere. Every film that shows at the festival is either a world premiere, U.S. premiere, Arizona premiere, or Valley premiere. And these are films that generally will be shown later at the Harkins and the Film Bar and those kind of theaters. And we've got about 140 films that we're showing, short films, feature films, narrative, animation, documentaries, foreign language films like Years Later.
And where would people go to see them?
Everything takes place at the Harkins Scottsdale 101 Theater. What we do is we take over 6 screens, and we're basically running from 9 in the morning until midnight, running film after film after film. and it's a true cinema immersion experience. You know, you can start in the morning and you leave at midnight, and you truly are just enjoying film. The best part is that everyone around you also is enjoying film. The people that you're talking to in line and eating, everyone there is just excited about independent cinema and making, movies being made. And that's the great thing about the festival. If you've never been to the festival, it's not just watching movies. We actually have the filmmakers who are coming. They're talking about their movies. They're doing question and answer sessions after the films are screened. And then we have a big party pavilion, a couple of storefronts down from the Harkins Scottsdale 101 Theater, and we've set up a big party. We've got stage and lights and acts, and it's another opportunity for people just to come together in a big community, and we call it the biggest film party in Arizona.
And one of the film producers you're going to have is the producer of Years Later. It's a Mexican film. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Laura Veros is the director, and she's coming out from Mexico. In fact, it's great because the film has been provided to us by the Mexican consulate. They feel it's very important to have as many Mexican films as we possibly can have here, especially because of our very close proximity to Mexico here in Arizona. So every year we have films that come from Mexico. And so this year, Years Later, it's a very acclaimed film. Andres is a very happy young man. He and his mother had lived in Mexico for a long time. He never thought he had any other family, discovers that he has a grandfather in Spain, and decides that he must meet his grandfather and find out the heritage and history behind his family. So he abandons everything, including his girlfriend, and goes to Spain to find out what his life and his family is all about.
And this film is airing, as I understand it, 4th and 5th?
Yeah, we're showing it, actually it's 5th and 6th. We're showing it on Friday night, and then we're also showing it on Saturday. And that's that great thing is that Laura's coming in on Friday, and so she's going to basically get off a plane and come right to the screening, which is tremendous.
Now, you talked about the importance of the collaboration with Mexico, the Mexican consulate. The Mexican film industry itself, which back in the 40s and 50s was one of the world's top film industries, then kind of went into decline. It seems to be re-emerging with some of the top producers in the world coming from Mexico.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is probably the biggest example of the type of filmmaker that is currently making Hollywood studio films. Who started as a small independent horror filmmaker in Mexico, and a number of Latino and Mexican filmmakers are making impacts and making strides in in the studio system, which is in the past has really been unheard of. It's important to have all kinds of diversity, in cinema, and it's great that Mexico really is kind of really taking advantage of this, of what I call the former digital divide. When you made film, you had to buy film and expose it, and 35 millimeter and 60 millimeter, the cost was ridiculous. Not everyone could tell a story with a camera, and times have changed, and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing suddenly everyone has the opportunity to tell a story, because the cameras are next to nothing. You can edit on your laptop, and the films that we're showing at the film festival, that's exactly what a lot of people have done. Kickstarter campaigns where they've gone out and tried to get crowdfunding to make their movies. And really, independent cinema, film itself is such a cultural touchstone. It really is so, it's so important to our lives today. I mean, media is everywhere. When you can watch YouTube on your cell phone, we're hoping that the YouTube filmmakers of today are actual filmmakers of tomorrow. It's not just cats playing pianos.
We talked about this film coming from Mexico. As I understand, you've got another film in the festival that might be of particular interest to the Latino community.
Oh, yeah. No, this is fun. It's called Los Wild Ones, and it's about an Irish record producer in Los Angeles, but his stable is Latino rock and rollers, and all they do is they perform songs from the 50s, like Richie Valens, and what happens is that he's still kind of stuck in that 50s mentality. So he's got all of his Latino acts, and they are starting to lose traction in this world of iTunes and music videos. And so the whole story is about Reb trying to figure out that he needs to change with the times, or else he and everyone else are not going to be able to survive. So it's fun. There's some great music as well. So I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy that as well.
Now, in terms of outreach to the Latino community here, I know that the Mexican consulate was helping you promote the movie that's coming from Mexico. Any other kinds of things that you're doing to spread the word?
Well, I mean, we have just the tremendous outreach to, a number of different places. I mean, Una Visión and La Voz, I mean, every year they come out and take a look at what we're doing. They always are excited about the kind of films because, frankly, there just really isn't that many opportunities for these kind of films to be shown here in Arizona, especially in the Valley. I mean, the opportunities to be able to go and see small films like this, personal films, from Mexico and from other countries. I mean, you've got the Harkins theaters, you've got the Film Bar, like I said, but they don't, they can't make a significant impact like this festival can, which 300 people are going to come and see, this film every time it shows for the 2 times it shows, and that 600 people are going to walk away and say, wow, we saw this really great film that hopefully will show up in Phoenix at some point in the future, maybe on DVD or on video on demand or something like that. But that's the neat thing is that it's sort of this, everyone takes ownership. Everybody wants to see these voices, these stories being told. And it's great that, from all different areas of the Valley, everyone just wants to say, how artistic people can be and how, as a community, we can grow artistically. And that's really what film is all about. I always say there's a difference between film and movies. Movies are Dark Knight Rises. Film tells stories and engages people. And that's what we really celebrate at the Phoenix Film Festival.
And it sounds like it's going to be a great event. Chris Lamont, thank you for joining us on Horizonte to talk about it.
Thank you.
To find out more information about what's on Horizonte, go to azpbs.org and click on the Horizonte tab at the top of the screen. There you can access many features to become a more informed Horizonte viewer. Watch interviews by clicking on the video button or by scrolling down to the bottom of the page for the most recent segments. Learn about more specific topics like arts and culture and immigration. You can also find out what's on Horizonte for the upcoming week. If you would like an RSS feed, a podcast, or you want to buy a video, that's all on our website too. Other features include our collection of website links and a special page for educators. While you're there, show your support for Horizonte with just one click. Discover all that's on Horizonte. Visit azpbs.org, Horizonte today.
The PBS series, History Detectives, explores the complexities of historical mysteries, searching out myths and facts that connect local folklore, family legends, and interesting objects. Joining me are 2 of the co-hosts of the PBS series, Eduardo Pagan. Also here is co-host Elise Loray. Thank you both for joining us on Horizonte. For those very few people, and I'm sure it's very few, who aren't familiar with the series, just kind of give us the essence of it.
Well, viewers write into us and they have a question about an artifact. They want to know if something is true about the artifact that connects them to a historical question. And basically, Eduardo and I and 3 other hosts go off and try to figure out, is this question true or not? And as we're doing that, we talk about American history, we explore American history, and we show how the object is actually connected to a bigger history, something compelling that has gone on in our history. We also teach people how to research their objects. We go to public institutions. We show how archives are important, libraries are important, and that just Googling something isn't really research. So the show is really about how to research an object and how to connect a piece, an artifact, to the bigger picture of American history.
And one great example of that was a recent show you all did with respect to the Titanic.
Yes, we did. I actually did the story, and a woman had a piece that she believed was the wood from the Titanic. It was a picture frame, and she wanted to know, could this have come from the Titanic? Someone else in her family thought maybe it came from another shipwreck. So the question was, what did that happen? So we told the story of the Titanic, it going down, the history. We went to Halifax, and were able to really shed some light on how there was a lot of salvage from the wreck. Unfortunately, no people were salvaged, but there was a lot of wood that was salvaged, and it was a piece from the Titanic.
It was a great story. And Eduardo, the series itself is basically a national show. It has a connection with the Oregon PBS station, but there are some Arizona connections. You're one of them.
Yes. I'm a full-time professor at Arizona State University. I'm a Sun Devil as an undergraduate. That's where I went to school. So it's been a lot of fun actually trying to bring some Arizona and Southwestern stories to the national audience.
And I want to talk about one of them in a little bit that you were involved in. But before that, there's another Arizona connection, and that's the reason why the 2 of you are here this week in Arizona. Tell us about that.
Well, I thought I would invite my co-hosts, Elise and Gwen Wright are going to join me with 900 of my closest friends. And we would all converge over at the West Campus, ASU's West Campus, and we would celebrate 10 years of being on the air. So The three of us will actually share some stories from the past 10 years, and there's a lot that happens behind the scenes, a lot of stories that we know about each other. I might tell a story or two about you, Elise, just to share with the audience
start
as
a little
well.
controversy right
That's
here.
right.
Like that. We might, actually, I do have a story to tell about you. So yeah, it would be fun just to get together and meet our fans, and this is one of our stronger markets as well. So I just thought it was a nice confluence of all sorts of things, just bringing my co-host friends together along with residents in the Valley.
Now, another connection, you referenced shows that have something to do with the Southwest. One of the first ones you did had to do with Pancho Villa. We've got some video that we're going to run as you and I are talking, but tell us about that one.
Well, one of our viewers had a watch fob. Now, this is something that people don't have today, but it's just a piece of jewelry that just kind of hangs from a leather strap.
And the picture's on the screen. This is the raid on Columbus, New Mexico, right?
This is the one right here. And this watch fob was actually commemorating the raid in 1960 in Columbus, New Mexico, allegedly by Pancho Villa. And this fob was given to our viewer from a neighbor who said he was actually there. He was a survivor of that. And now he has passed away, and so she came to us and she wanted to know, was he really there? Was he really an eyewitness to this historic moment? And so we were able to tell the story about the raid and also authenticate the fact that he was not only there, he was a survivor and actually had a very interesting story to tell as a child. He and his family escaping the troops as they were coming into Columbus. This family was actually going through some canals to escape the troops and waited out till daylight. So they were there, and the story was actually true.
Now, Elise, Eduardo said there'd be some insights into how the show comes together. Give us a preview of what you'll be talking about to the people at the West Campus.
Well, I think a couple things. You know, we get about 6,000 to 10,000 submissions a year. So I think one of the things that we'll talk about is how do we pick the good stories, and what stories are compelling and what makes good television. We have a lot of trials and tribulations when you go out and you try to shoot, and I think we'll tell a lot about that. I mean, I've had stories where we shot a whole morning and then we didn't realize, the sound person realized that he never recorded. Or we've had stories where our tapes got stolen.
That never happens here.
We shot a whole season once, and one of the assistant producers left the tapes in a room, and the room was robbed, and all of our tapes were gone. Or we travel maybe to 5 or 6 states for one show, and I don't know how many plane rides. Sometimes the luggage doesn't show up. Kind of fun things behind the scenes that also happen. And, we could work on a story for 6 to 8 months and not get anywhere with it. So we're also going to share some of the frustrations that we have because, research sometimes happens really quickly and easily, and sometimes it takes us a really long time.
Now, Eduardo, as I understand it, one of the interesting stories you're just now wrapping up, or just did wrap up, has to do with an iconic piece of the American West, at least as presented in the early days of television.
Yes, actually, it just aired this week. It was like the story of the Sons of the Pioneers, the famous country western group. In fact, it was the first mega country western group that existed in American history. And one of our viewers had a sheet of music that was inscribed by Bob Nolan, who was one of the founding
members.
And
we're talking about Sons of the Pioneers from Roy Rogers.
That's right. That's right.
That's the connection.
In fact, before Roy Rogers was Roy Rogers, his name was Leonard Sly, and he was just one of the singers of the Sons. And as it turns out, Bob was originally supposed to be the star. He was the one that the Hollywood studios wanted to promote as kind of the iconic cowboy. Bob was not interested in popularity or fame, and he stepped away from that. And so they looked around and said, okay, how about you, Leonard Sly? And as it turned out, Leonard became Roy Rogers, and the rest is history. But the sheet music was inscribed by Bob. He wrote the song Tumbling Tumbleweeds, which was their first mega hit. And he wrote on this thing, this song has been both bad and good to me. So our viewer, who purchased a copy of the sheet music, he wanted to know, what was Bob Nolan writing about? This is a mega hit. This is what launched the Sons of the Pioneer. What was bad about this story? So Bob passed away, I think, 3 or 4 decades ago now, and we weren't able to interview him or any member of his family, but we met with people who were part of the group and who knew members of the group. We were able to kind of tell the story, and as it turns out, part of the reason why this story was bad is, as a struggling artist, he sold the rights to the song. And so there were royalties that for decades he had not been paid. And he sued later on to try and get the rights to it. But it's kind of a classic story of the artist who is struggling, and in order to make money, they sell the rights, and then it becomes this major hit, and they see none of the profits. he was able to recover some of the profits, but there were decades of profits that he just wasn't able to get back.
Oh, it sounds like a great story. Yeah. At least we're almost out of time. And we know our viewers can watch History Detectives here on their local station, Channel 8. But tell us your favorite.
My favorite story?
Yeah.
Oh, God, there's millions and I mean, I've loved everyone for different reasons, but I think my favorite one was probably finding a piece of Amelia Earhart's plane. You know, it was Women in History Month, and my son came to school and he said, well, my mother found a piece of Amelia Earhart's plane. I got a call from the teacher, and she said, your son's telling lies. I said, no, he really isn't telling lies. We did find a piece of Amelia Earhart's plane. And you can see them all online. If you go to the PBS site, if you ever want to see any of our shows, they're all online to see.
Well, we'll make sure to do that. In the meantime, thank you both for joining us, Elise Luray and Professor Eduardo Pagan. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Here at Horizonte, we want to hear from you. If you have comments, story ideas, or questions, email us at horizonte@asu.edu.
StoryCorps and Radio Campesina have come together to archive the oral history of the Hispanic community. Joining me to talk about the largest national oral history project is Victor Gamis, Community Outreach Coordinator at Radio Campesina. Victor, thanks for joining us on Horizonte.
Great to be on the show.
StoryCorps is a production of National Public Radio, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and it's been going on for a number of years. People who listen to the local public radio station have heard it before. But this is a relatively recent effort, and tell us how this came about and the coordination between your company and StoryCorps.
That's right. StoryCorps has been around since 2003. They've recorded more than 45,000 stories. I think for the first time they were very interested in capturing the stories of the Hispanic community. So they got in contact with us, who we are actually a nonprofit radio station run through the Cesar Chavez Foundation. And I think that they thought that we were the perfect candidate, especially here in Phoenix, a pretty big demographic.
Because they hadn't done this before anywhere.
They had recorded Spanish stories in different parts of the country. They had never set an actual stop and focused directly on the Hispanic community. And they did that for 2 weeks. And yeah, I think it's something that really interested them. And it's something that's important here in the United States as well. I feel like our story is a story as well.
And the way they did this, they showed up in this kind of mobile studio that they brought here to Phoenix, and we've got some pictures that will be running on the screen as we're talking.
That's right. Yeah, it's a Airstream mobile unit, kind of like those old ones where people used to camp out in back in the day. The story, it's a professionally produced studio inside the mobile unit that travels thousands of miles every year. And yeah, you go in there with another person who you have a great relationship with, somebody who knows you well, and it's a 40-minute conversation between you and that person, and you guys talk about anything you guys want to talk about. There's not really a story that we were looking for here at the stop with Phoenix.
Now, how hard was it to get people to turn out to participate in this?
It was difficult because it was something that our listeners, our audience, was not too familiar with. They've never heard of the StoryCorps project. Obviously, it's an English-based project with NPR, but we did a lot of outreach. A lot of our work was outreach, partnering with different organizations. We partnered with about 10 different local organizations that are in the news quite often, like the Arizona Dream Act Coalition, Promise Arizona, Puente, the Isaac Amaya Foundation, many other organizations as well. And we asked them to help us capture some of their participants, the stories of their participants. And I think that was something that really helped us, and we used to our advantage, because we do partner with a lot of local organizations, us at Radio Campesina, since we are active in the community. But it was difficult in a broader aspect, just to kind of throw out the StoryCorps project on air and let people know, well, hey, we're going to be here recording stories. You should be interested. You know?
Well, and despite those difficulties, you ended up with, what, about 64 participants?
That's right, 64 pairs of participants, so about like 90-plus participants as a whole. And the majority of our work was outreach, going out, talking to different groups. I do a lot of street promotions as well for the radio station, and just listeners that were trying to win prizes or go to a concert and stuff like that. We were just talking to people, just letting them know, hey, this is a project that's here in Phoenix. It's for the first time. They've never recorded Spanish stories, and we want your story. We want to hear what your story is, because every story, every person has a story, basically.
And given some of the groups you mentioned as participants, I imagine quite a few of the stories had to do something with the immigrant experience.
That's right. A lot of the injustices, I would say, the struggles of a lot of the people that live here in Phoenix, I felt like it was a good way for them to express their story. And they did. A lot of people talked about what they've experienced being here, what they experienced before coming here, how everything's worked around them being in Arizona, and how they've been affected by the things that have been going on here in Phoenix. And then that's most importantly, it's in the news nationally, usually like every day.
So Victor, we're almost out of time. When will the stories be available, and how will people be able to access them?
The stories will be available on Radio Campesina. You can listen to the stories. We're just in the editing process, and we're gonna choose about 15 to 20 stories that we're gonna run for a whole month, and they can listen to those stories online as well, visiting Radio Campesina's website, and of course on StoryCorps' website as well.
Well, Victor, thank you so much for joining us. Victor Gamis from Radio Campesina. It sounds like a great project, and we're glad you were here to talk about it.
Thank you, Jose.
That is our show for tonight. From all of us here at Horizonte, I'm Jose Cardenas. Have a good night.
Funding for Horizonte is made possible by contributions by the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station.